Hello, lovely listeners. Back with another very special episode with three very special guests. We're joined by Veronica, Laura, and Megan, who have just last week certified in the Time Coach program. And I brought them on to share about their experience, their expertise, and just give you some wisdom because they have all sat exactly where you are now. And I think that is so fun. So I'd love to start by having you guys introduce yourselves and maybe sharing a little bit about what drove this decision for you. Veronica, are you up for going first?
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. I am Veronica. I am a Londoner and have been for the last 15 years, and I'm originally from Poland. I am a full-time employee. I am a mom to two boys. And last but not least, I am a time hacker, and I'm proud to say now I'm also a time hacker coach. Yay! So why? It was so funny actually this morning when I was walking my youngest to school, who's 7. He asked me literally, "Mom, why are you a time hacker coach?"
So
Because
cool.
clearly he saw me studying, he saw me learning, he saw me obviously peer coaching and stuff. And so what I told him is I see coaching as such a brilliant way to help people follow their dreams and lead a more fulfilled and balanced life. And I love helping people, and that especially women um, um, lead and more aligned and life full of joy and happiness. And I saw coaching as a way to fulfill that purpose. On more practical level, the two reasons I joined the certification is first of all, I absolutely love the time hacker tools, and I saw this as a way to dig deeper and just get myself even more familiar with the tools. And I wanted to learn to ask better questions. In reality, I've learned to listen, and that led to better questions. So yeah, that's about me.
Wow, it's so powerful to think of that opening and that conversation that your 7-year-old son gets invited into because of a decision that you made. This idea that we can go after goals, go after dreams, and we can get tools that make it easier and support, like normalizing support. That was so powerful. Thank you for sharing. And I think what's amazing is Veronica and Megan were time hackers before, but Laura, you decided to jump in and become a coach. So I'd love to hear from you, introduce yourself and share about your decision.
Hi, thanks, Vicky. I have had coach training before,
Mhm.
so I recently, like, I'd never really got going with it. It never really was a fit for me, and I'd had this massive realization actually before Time Hackers that I'd kind of was trying to build up a coaching business next to my full-time job, and it just wasn't working because I didn't have enough time. So I went down to 16 hours a week. And then I couldn't build up my coaching business because I didn't have enough time. And then I went down to 5 hours a week and I couldn't build up my coaching business because I didn't have enough time. And I finally kind of thought, okay, like time is not the issue here. And then shortly after I realized that, it was about 6 months maybe, I came across the time coach certification. And I thought, well, I'd already kind of seen that, but I really like it really appealed to me because it was saying the same thing. And I just thought it would not be nice to have some kind of formal kind of tools or support or thinking around that. But also, it was such a long time since I'd done my coach training and I had not set up any kind of sustainable business. And I just thought the thing that really appealed to me that you do in the time coach certification is all the kind of peer coaching. And I thought I really wanted to get into that to get my confidence back and to get the practice up, and specifically around this new kind of set of tools. So that's kind of what brought me to it.
Like that is such a powerful story because I know so many people listening. I mean, it was my story. It's like, oh, I don't have time, so let me change things. Then I create more time, there's never enough time because it was never a time problem. And I didn't know that part of your story. But I love it because it is, one of the things I speak about in this certification is we want people who walk first. We want people who know, who have experienced it to solve the problems for themselves and then create and help others. So I think that that's such a beautiful addition that I didn't know. Thank you. Thanks for sharing. And yes, agree. We'll definitely speak about peer coaching. I know that was a big love thing. Megan, you're up.
I'm up. Thank you. I'm Megan, and I've lived all over the United States. I'm in southern US right now in Alabama. I also had a previous coach certification, but I was introduced to you, Vicky, in another coaching group where you were a coach on a weekly call, and I had always loved your style. And social media was showing me your things, and I've been interested in it. I think from the beginning, when you said when you started it, I thought, I think that's when I started seeing her things. So been following you for a while, and then was a time hacker, and actually for a couple of years had a goal to be here. I'm a mom of four, and my husband and I would say we're both multi-passionate, have careers and other interests, and balancing doing those things that I'm interested in and a family and a job. It always felt like there wasn't enough time to do what I wanted to do. And in moments where I felt like I had time, the things that I felt like I should do, I didn't want to do. And I feel like focusing on time and listening to your podcast really helped me own the decisions that I made with my time. And some other certifications I did and mindfulness helped me feel more spacious in moments and feel more spacious in time. But I really, like Laura was saying, wanted to have more specified time tools. And when I listen to you talk in your podcast and read your emails, it just really, I feel like would open my mind to other options. When I was in high school, I remember crying at the kitchen counter with my mom after I'm the oldest child. The other kids had gone to bed and telling her about all this homework I had and when it's due by. And she'd be like, okay, let's think out of the box though. And so when I listen to your podcasts and things, I think, okay, Vicky's helping me think outside the box when I'm so overwhelmed and things with my time and see other options. And so I wanted to be able to provide that to others and just really hone in on time because I think that's so huge.
Yeah.
Just how you feel in it and the decision making, that was one of the biggest things for me too.
Amazing. Well, thank you all for sharing because listeners can probably identify with part, if not all, of what some or each of you are saying. And that's what I was saying to them before was why it's so powerful for them to come and share. I'd love to hear. I mean, I was either going to, let's just jump to what surprised you about the certification. And I'm asking this for two reasons. One, I just did an email to people on our list and said, if you're interested, but you've not joined this workshop that I'm doing, let me know why. And people came back with questions. I was like, oh, I'm genuinely not communicating certain things very well. But two, I think there's also what we think and expect from a learning environment. So it's kind of like what I didn't communicate well that surprised you in the program and what surprised you about potentially a different learning environment and space and the community. Laura, are you up for speaking first on this one?
Yeah, I'm going to be like a politician though, so I'm going to change your question. It might be the same answer anyway, but it's kind of like to me what I liked about it and what was maybe different from other coach trainings that I'd experienced before. And I would say I'm a highly sensitive woman, and actually my niche is coaching other highly sensitive women. And this is the first space I've really come into that really accommodated that without even like signaling it specifically in terms of being highly sensitive. But I think you are quite open about kind of being inclusive and everything, but still it was just so easy to fit into this space. So even though there were things going on around me that weren't kind of like fitted to me, I didn't feel left out. I didn't feel on the outside like I normally do in other spaces. And specifically about the coach training, it was very open to people having their own style. So again, I do feel like I have maybe a different style than what is probably going on in Time Hackers. I don't know because I'm not in there, but that would be my best guess based on a lot of experience of other things. But it never felt that that was wrong or that I shouldn't pursue that. And there was definitely space in the training and the peer coaching to explore that and to refine it So really, one of the reasons I came on to talk to you, because I really wanted to say, you know, whether it's being highly sensitive, quiet, a woman, an introvert, or just Laura, whenever I look at trainings like this, I scour every little bit of the copy to see, is this going to be for me and fit me? So it was really important for me to come on and say, if there are any other women who kind of feel like maybe they identify with anything that I'm saying in their own experience and are wondering if it's for them, I would say 100% it really is.
Thank you so much for sharing. It's, yeah, really powerful for you to share. And I think that it's such a gift. This is why, you know, you guys coming on and sharing, you're able to say things and see things that maybe I couldn't otherwise. And it's interesting as I'm getting ready for the next cohort and thinking about, you know, we keep our class quite small. And I think that we keep our class small and it allows for relationships. Like I genuinely feel like I know each of you and you definitely build relationships with each other. And to me, that's such a unique thing. And, you know, one of the main things that we speak about in terms of being an excellent coach is creating safety. And for me, that's like one of the key goals of the program is to create safety. So to hear you reflect that back and that safety to be yourself is just really powerful. Thank you, Laura. Meagan?
I love that you brought up the creating safety, because I think that that would be one thing that, looking back, maybe it's a surprise that it surprised me, but really that it was just so always number one. And even when there was learning to be had, there was safety there first, and that didn't mean that that the learning was any less. Anyway, that we were celebrating first and making sure there was safety first. There was still so much learning. I think the other thing that surprised me, and you said this was something you tested this time, was having all the learning on the private podcast. And at first I felt, if it's okay if I say this, I felt like it was a little disorienting at first. Like, okay, I need to figure out how I'm going to approach all this learning. There's no milestones along the way set for me. No, not that kind of structure. But by the end, I felt more empowered by that, to have really taken charge of my own learning and what I needed right now, or if I wanted to look at something 5 times and something 1 time. And I really learned by the end to be grateful for that, and to have used it to strengthen my own ability to know what I need to learn. And I also liked how you were always encouraging us to bring that to our Facebook group, where we could communicate to each other and talk about our ideas. Like, I was learning about this and this was really mind blowing, or I'm confused about this, or what's your perspective? And I thought that was a fun way to learn as well together, because we had learning from you, we had access to you, and we had, of course, the videos, but then getting each other's perspective, life perspective on it was really something I wasn't expecting, but I thought was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think that for sure is a huge addition. It's almost like you can't explain it too much in advance, because you don't want to put pressure on people. Like, you have to perform, you have to contribute. But I will say, like, what I loved about this cohort was seeing that contribution across coaching, learning, skill learning. But even when we did the project, I just remember it was the first cohort where everyone gave each other feedback on the project, and it was something I'd never even thought of before, but it was so valuable. Because it created such a dynamic learning experience for everyone. So yeah, I think it's interesting, because I never want people to come in like you're expected to do this, but it just naturally happens when you create that safety for relationships, the peer coaching. Like, it's very special experience, I think. So yeah, love that. Thank you. Veronica.
Right, so I'll talk about 3 things. So first of all, what surprised me is something that was already brought up, which is the pace at which we started coaching. And you warned me. We had a one-to-one conversation, and you told me this will be about practice. So I was warned, but it still took me by surprise how quickly we moved on to that. And I absolutely loved, as Meagan said, having all of the learning in that accessible format. It's just, actually, it makes so much sense for that to be done in this way. It actually, that worked brilliantly for me. The second thing is flexibility, and how non-hierarchical that space is. And I've seen this with you over and over again, where we literally turned around on the call and went after an idea that Laura suggested on the spot, right? And this blew my mind, frankly. And you speak about co-creation, Vicky, so often, but like you live it as well. This was an incredible and really an empowering experience, because we are not showing here as scholars, right? As someone to be taught, we are showing up here to co-create this learning experience. So that was surprising and incredibly empowering as well. And just giving us almost that luxury of my ideas matter, what I need matters, and really that invitation to ask for support and for what one might need or what one might not understand, etc. So that was very brilliant. And lastly, just on a personal note, what surprised me is I came into the certification to almost delve deeper into the tools. What surprised me is how well I know the tools already. And that was extremely empowering for me as well, just to almost give myself the credit for that as well.
Absolutely. And yeah, it's actually, Veronica, because you were not a coach before this, but Laura and Meagan were. So it's also that difference if we have people coming in with all different experiences, but obviously you were super experienced with the time tools. And I loved what you said around, well, I loved everything that you all said, but the speed, so for you in particular, the speed of coaching on the second or third week is like, what? But on the backside of it, that's why, I was counting it up and I was like, there's over 50 opportunities to get coached, give coaching and observe coaching in this program, because we moved all the learning onto the private podcast. So I agree that that's been a really great experience to see that come out and just see the skill develop, the exposure and all of that fun stuff. What would you say is, like, what's changed about maybe potentially you as a person, or also potentially your goals? Like, how have you evolved and potentially how have your goals evolved? And I'm going to come to Meagan on this one.
How have I evolved? Well, we talked about this in our celebration call. In my confidence, I think part of that was, even though I've coached before, jumping into the coaching in this program with these tools specifically, jumping into that so quickly. And your reminder in our training on the private podcast, and always saying that you are already an excellent coach. Even before we were beginning, I think in your marketing, you said that before we begin, that you're already an excellent coach. And I think that has changed for me personally. I remember it was like my third peer coaching call where you said sometimes you can pick something you want to focus on. That's what I want to go in focusing on, and just really practice feeling that in my body before I went in. And the coaching felt different, and I felt like I could be so much more relational. Even if the previous couple of coachings, I was told that it was good and helpful, it felt different to me being there. So really embodying that, and I feel like I've been able to take that into other areas of my life as well. So in my work as a nurse, or as a mother, even as a friend. Just, I'm an excellent friend. So what do I do as an excellent friend? And just believing that ahead of time has really changed for me personally. And then what has changed for my goals? I want to say that the celebrating first, always celebrating first, really, it brings in, I feel like I am in some ways a high achiever, and I have a lot of goals, and I just want to get to the next one and to the next one to the next one. And I don't always celebrate in between, and it can make it harder to move on to the next one. And And also it sometimes loses its essence of play and fun in working on the next thing. So it brings in that excitement and fun that maybe we haven't really fully enjoyed since childhood. It brings that in again as I'm just working towards my goals and celebrating all along the way and not waiting for the very end, but celebrating multiple steps along the way.
Yes. I don't know if you guys have noticed how much I'm celebrating you all online, like in the Facebook group, on my personal page. Like I really was like, I want to, it's like all very like wanting to lead by example, because I think that, well, like, oh, it's enough. Like I've mentioned it once, it's enough. It's like, no, it's like, it's literally the thing to do more of. So I love that you brought that up. Thank you. Veronica.
That's such a great question. Uh, and as I was reflecting what's changed, personally, I really deepened my almost alignment with growth as one of my core values. And it was incredible to have that experience of choosing growth, choosing discomfort, of going after a coaching certification where I have not really coached anyone before. And being able to go through that learning curve and come out on the other side. This has been really empowering for me. I definitely act on self-compassion as well, because it's such a core part of the coaching framework. I just talk to myself differently these days, and I further deepen my ability to like almost observe my brain from the sidelines as opposed to jumping in on the story. So yeah, I was reflecting on that actually with some of my coaching certification friends, and I am definitely a different person on the other side. I show up differently in my friendships. I show up differently as a mom, and at work as well. So there's that. And on the professional side, I definitely caught the coaching bug, and I would love to. Like I can't imagine my life now without coaching being part of it. It's just such an incredible experience, and it's such a gift to be able to sit with another human and share that vulnerability of experience and hold space for each other and problem solve. And yeah, so we'll see what life brings.
Yes, definitely. I love that. And I definitely witnessed that expansion of like potential in the program with you. So that's really fun. Just to be a bit clearer for people, or like a bit more explanatory, we could say, when you say I'm a different mum, I'm a different partner, I'm a different like, what do you mean by different? Is it, yeah, I won't put words into your mouth. What do you mean by different?
Yeah, that's such a good question. Like one of the key skills I've honed in the certification is listening and holding space and just pausing. So that's a helpful skill wherever you go in life. And isn't like as a friend, for example, it's almost I have this thing where people have always been opening up to me. I call this agony aunt type of a relationship. Coaching is nothing like that at all. But like, yeah, I have that ability to be very vulnerable with people, and having the coaching certification just gave me another set of tools of how I can show up in those conversations without turning into the coach mode, obviously. But it's just being able to create space for someone else's experience and be a supportive force in their life. That's what I mean. And I probably need to show up differently. Yeah, yeah. We can ask my friends whether I turned into coach speak mode. a bit sometimes because we do speak a slightly different language as coaches sometimes. So yeah, but that's really what I mean. But for my kids, it's just like, like again, taking a deep breath. It's not a, like, I suddenly haven't changed into a perfect human, right?
What? You've not changed into a perfect AI robot version of yourself?
No, I still, I am far from perfect. I can assure you about that. But it's just, on the edges, there are situations where I can hold space. I can take a deep breath, and yeah, like today, my son just went into full scream mode, and like he's not going to school at all. Like he's in his PJs. We need to leave in 5 minutes. But yeah, but he's screaming his head off to tell me he's not going to school, and yeah, and I created a space for him to feel his feelings, and I was able to communicate to him that I absolutely understand he doesn't want to go, and we need to go. And yeah, and like I do think that coaching uh, and that ability to sit with somebody else's experience without judgment definitely helps.
Yeah. Yes, we've also got a no school today kid over here. It's fun. But yeah, thank you for sharing. I just thought it might be interesting for people to like see. So I love the specific example that you gave there. Really helpful. And I will say, I mean, my thing as well was also being the like agony aunt. And I think it might not be what coaching is, but it can often be the gateway to coaching, right? Being that supportive friend, there's something there. Thank you. Laura, I'd love to hear from you.
I think confidence really is the biggest thing I came out with that's been different for me. It was kind of really empowering. I think Veronika used that word this course in ways I couldn't even define, but I know I just feel different. And particularly, and I hope I'm really not kind of repeating myself to the point of boredom for everyone, but just in terms of being a highly sensitive person and being able to own that and not apologize for it and not kind of try and hide it and push through it and not kind of do that in front of other people, but most importantly, not even do that to myself. And so kind of that. And then I think Meagan mentioned, I think, about kind of self-compassion and being kind to yourself. And I've definitely taken that, and it just, I don't know that it shows to anybody else, but it certainly lessens my kind of mental suffering as I go about my day. And I'll just give you one perfect, extremely recent example is I do not like at all the answer I gave to your first question. Like there's so many things I could have added that I think would have been useful for people and things I kind of wanted to say. And before I would have just been focusing on that for the whole rest of our time together. But until I thought, oh, I'm going to raise that as part of my answer, I mean, I'd just forgotten it. I just moved on. So like that's a massive difference to me.
Massive. It's massive to all of us. Oh, it's so huge. Thank you for sharing that because yeah, it's like, oh, I could have done that differently, and then it impacts everything else, like the domino effect. So I love that share. Thank you. Yeah, I think, yeah, great. You just made me think of another question, which I would love to put to you all, which is, so there's different elements of the program. We've spoken a bit about the learning and the modules and the private podcast. We've spoken very briefly on the peer coaching. There's obviously the live coaching call, the evaluations, there's the Time Coach project, there's the playbooks, there's the business workshops. And I would love if you guys are open to it, if you're willing to pick maybe one of the things, and you can all pick differently, you can all pick the same, just pick whatever came to mind. And if you would be happy to share about like what that element of the program gave to you, what you appreciated about it, how it helped you evolve, what was fun about it maybe, or just share generally about implementing just kind of one component, and it's okay if you end up slipping into two, obviously. But yeah, so I'd love to bring that question to you guys. Laura, are you up for it?
Okie dokie. So it seems very unfair to make us pick one or even two, but without a doubt, I think I would say the business workshops, because I don't think they were really what I was expecting. I think I was kind of expecting more strategy stuff and, how to get people on your list or how to get consults and all of that. And I think it is fair to say that that is not what it was. And it was very much, I don't know that I even want to use the word mindset, but because that word gets used a lot. But I think it was, for me anyway, my experience of it was more about my identity as a coach and about how I think about what I'm offering and how I kind of carry myself as a coach and believe in myself as a coach, and how I might want to kind of explain that to people. Again, not in a, oh, this is your niche way, but real at an identity level. So, and they were fun. I mean, it wasn't, stand-up comedy or anything, but it wasn't,
It wasn't.
it wasn't like a real heavy learning thing.
Yeah.
It was just like, again, like I've never had anything else like that on any type of coaching course. And unfortunately, I'm one of those people that's taken quite a few. So, yeah, without a doubt, the business workshops have, and that's part of what fed into my confidence really about, when you asked about what's changed about me. So that was, I mean, again, like, can you pick one thing? But that's, was a big piece of kind of what made a difference to me, not just in learning the coaching skills, but in me thinking, oh, actually, I can go out now and create a business. And I think it's really important to say that, I don't know if this was your intention or not, it might be completely the opposite, but I almost felt like it might take longer than I thought. And actually that would be okay. That, like, now I've got this identity piece, that's the bit that I need. I don't need to look for anything else. And now there's just the act of going out into the world as that coach, and it will happen as and when it happens. There's no kind of things that are going wrong, or, oh, it needs to happen faster, so I'm not doing it right, or, oh, this isn't going to work because, I haven't got X clients by Y time. So for me, it's the business workshops. I got all of that out of it, and probably loads more that I can't even think of right now.
Amazing. Yes, I think that was the exact intention with this. Is, I think a lot of business workshops, when we think of it, we think about that strategy. And my view now is like, you can get that from AI, right? Like how to have a content strategy, how to build a workshop, whatever it might be. But what's missing is the identity as a coach and also as a business owner. And when we don't take on the identity as the business owner delivering, then it's like we're always thinking about the service and never how we're going to grow the business, which I think is a huge responsibility of being a business owner. So it was super intentional and really great to have you pull out. When you said the word identity, I was like, yes, because I think a lot of business stuff skips over that completely and goes straight into the strategy instead of, thinking about, how do I view myself as a business owner? How do I view myself as a decision maker? That's what Meagan was saying, and I think it's foundational. And what is created for you from what you just shared is like a calm knowing that your success is coming, instead of a client by the end of the day today, it's over. So yeah, love that. Thank you. Meagan?
Yes. I at first was feeling like it's hard not to say the peer coaching, but what I'm going to say actually is the learning lab peer coaching, for a few reasons. We still got the peer coaching, but when we were one-on-one, it was a little easier. Now, we were all very good at saying this is how much time I have and stopping within that time, but it is easier to chit chat and to go on. But when we were in that group together and you've got someone saying, okay, it's been 10 minutes, it was just really powerful to see what could happen in that 10 minutes, what it's like when you get ended and you don't get to tie it in a bow, and how that can still be profound for the person and as an observer, and to then get feedback from so many peers as well and be able to give feedback and to really practice giving feedback. That's a really important skill as well as a coach, as a human in the world. So I got to practice giving really great constructive feedback. And at first, it was maybe a little disappointing. I knew it wasn't going to be you every time, Vicky, leading these, but to have it be somebody else when I really want to do, but to get to experience so many different people's styles as well, leading this and knowing that they have lots of life experience and training, but also like you train them for this. So I can see myself in that seat as well. It just was really powerful all around to see them leading it to coach together in shorter amounts of time, to see that powerfully and to give feedback. That was really my favorite part, to experience together, even though there's a lot of nerves in by the end, you're just really feel more connected.
Yes, I think this is why the safety is so important, right? When you're going to not just, I think receiving feedback is one thing, but giving feedback, like it requires safety. And I think what we got to, that this is to Laura's point, like so many different styles, so many different ways of doing things. And you get to literally put down the idea that there's a formula, a correct formula for coaching because of those conversations. And there's things that I could have said, or there's things that we do and your brain puts the learning together. And that is why there were so many learning labs. So I love that. And it's the same as well with the coaches. When I first did my first ever group program, and Time Hackers was like a 3-month program, everyone sat there at some point and basically was stunned that I didn't always use my time perfectly. And I realized they'd put me on this pedestal. And as long as I was on this pedestal, they were not, which is why creating non-hierarchical spaces is so big for me. Because I think a lot of, unfortunately, the marketing world is like, I am perfect. You can follow me and be perfect too. And it's the same with the certification. Like as soon as I could bring other people in to do it, because I didn't want like Vicky is a perfect coach and she has all the answers. And exactly like you just said, Meagan, to see them have their own different styles. Like and to see yourself in that as well. It's like that is the why. That is the importance. It's not about creating perfection. It's about creating your most authentic coach self. And I think that comes from seeing authentic coach selves be different. So thank you for that. Yeah. Veronica.
I was supposed to say life coaching calls as well, and I love the business workshop, so I'll do a double take on both of those, just to flex the rules. So on the life coaching, it was probably the one where we've experienced, like personally, I would have experienced most growth, because it required so much bloody courage. But the adrenaline of actually just going for it and raising your hand and saying, "Yep, I would like to coach in front of the group." That is something that I can still feel in my body now. And as Meagan mentioned, the wealth of information you would get back, and you would get the lead coach perspective, you would get your peers perspective, you would get your coachee perspective. That just accelerates the learning. And even to lean in into the fear of putting yourself forward, that in itself was a fantastic experience. Okay, I can feel the fear and I can go ahead and do the thing that feels a bit scary. That is very profound. Yeah, and it's just, I think it created such a wonderful camaraderie across the group as well, because you could feel like, I will use the word love, like the kind of the respect, the kind of the shared passion for coaching, and also like the belief that everyone has in you, and them wanting you to succeed and grow. That was incredible. So that's on the life coaching calls. The business workshops, I could not agree with more with Laura. Like those were brilliant as well. And I think again, this was very much from the meta perspective, not the active, like what do you do, blah blah blah, action line, blah blah blah. It was more about really embracing of how do I go about, what do I need to do for myself in order to succeed? How do I create safety for myself? How do I create the safety for my client? And really bringing it back to first principles. I think, Vicky, your value is to make things simple, and that came across as well. I loved it when you talked about what you need or what you don't need to have a business, right? Because it's so easy to get wrapped up in like, oh, I need a perfect website, and then I create 2 websites, as one of our friends did, right? Instead of trying to go out there and find someone to coach. So that was incredibly eye-opening, and it really what this left me with is like that ability to even dream of potentially having a coaching business at some point in the future. I've never, I didn't come into the certification thinking of coaching as a career. Really, I saw this as a great opportunity to expand my skill set and toolkit as a leader in a large organization. So that was mind blowing as well.
Yes, yes. I think it's so hard if you do want to be a business owner. There's so many people coming at you with like, you need a website, you need Facebook ads, you need a social media strategy, you need to be speaking on stages, you need to be, have a podcast, you need to have a blog, you need like, it's like a million things. And so there's always a reason not to actually sell, make an offer, invite people to work with you, because there's something that you need to do that needs to be perfect. And the intention was really to like strip all that noise away. Obviously, I have a website now. I do run Facebook ads now. Like there's things that I do now that I wasn't doing when I started, but I think a lot of it designed to help actually shuts us down. So I love what you shared about the simplicity, because that was really the intention of have to see how, like, we have to kind of get away from all the noise. I'm just looking at the time, and I wanted to offer you guys the opportunity to do 2 things. First, to share anything that I've not asked. If you like, there's something that I wanted to say, or Laura, if there was things that you wanted to say at the beginning that you want to say differently now, let's go for it. And then the last thing that we'll do is we'll let people know a bit about you, and there'll be a link in the show notes to connect with each of them if you want to have a conversation, have a chat, and potentially work with them. And obviously, by the way, come join the certification. I forgot that part as well. So the links to that will also be in the show notes. Okay, perfect. So I can't remember who was first last time now. My brain I've run out. Who wants to go first? Yes. Oh, Veronica, your hand went up. You were touching your face.
Happy to go first. So one thing we haven't touched on, which I was very keen to bring into the conversation, is the quality of the training material. It was genuinely mind-blowing. It brought me from a place of not having any coaching experience to feeling confident to coach people in a space of a few weeks, really. So, and I think the way you set up this program is so aligned with the core values that you speak about as well. So that stood out for me as well.
Thank you for sharing. Meagan, I saw your hand pop up as well.
Yes. I think we've hinted at it here and there too, just the relationships that we create with people that are living all over the world too. And just, I thought it was fun knowing that I would be doing this today with Veronika and Laura, because I remember when you said, we're going to start coaching this week, and it was 2 or 3 weeks in, thinking, okay. And I was, taking my deep breaths and taking a day before I sat down. And when I sat down to do it, Veronika had already emailed me, do you want to do one this week? And I'd be like, okay, so we do ours. Okay, now I'm going to sign up. And I get on my email and someone's already signed up with me. And there were so many times when someone had just, it was so fun to see how excited everyone was to get started. And then Laura, I did my first one with her, and then I shared something in our Facebook group that I wanted to practice, and she messaged me right away, I'll do another one with you and you can practice that with me. And we talked about in our celebration call how generous everyone was. And I see that in the community that you created and allowed for us to do that together. And so there's that connection with other people, but just the connection with me too, as I've already shared a little bit here. I'm one of those people, Vicky, I'm sorry, I put you on a pedestal, even though you keep telling us not to, I have. And just how wonderful it was to see you not necessarily bring yourself down, but to lift us, to lift me, to so I feel like that is something that I wanted to share here, where even coming in with coaching training and knowing there were some people wondering if I would be judged as someone who, oh, she's already coached before and she still, has a hard time with this, and there was none of that. There was none of that. We were just all on the same level. And I just loved that experience, whether we had coaching experience or not before. It was all amazing coaching all around, as we all trusted ourselves to be excellent coaches and what we knew and the life experience we brought. And just, yeah, I just really felt like I lifted my self-concept and my confidence in myself. And I know I've said that before, but it was really, really special to see. And I didn't know if I would be able to get there through the 4 months, but that was just something I wanted to share again at the end.
Amazing. It's so fun to have our brains, like, norms around time shifted in terms of like how long things can take. And the other thing that I want to say to your point is, you said about me potentially lifting people up. I think the other thing that you've just conveyed is everyone was lifting everyone up, and that's why there was so much rising, and that's why there was so much growth, because it was like you said with Laura saying, hey, come practice that with me. It was like, and that generosity, it's like it was a room of lifting people up. And I think that in itself is such a unique and rare opportunity, that it's fun to have that pointed out to people listening to.
Yeah, thank you for pulling that out and celebrating all of us in that too. That's so true.
Yeah. Laura?
Sorry. I don't know I've got much new to add. I think I would really just like to repeat the safety part, because I think it's like the foundation of everything that allowed everything else to happen in such a short space of time. Like everybody to feel like a group, and the people to start to feel confident and to increase their skills. And I don't know, the only other thing I would say is I joined this program without asking for a one-to-one with you. I didn't see it offered anywhere, so I don't know if it was a thing, but I mean, it occurred to me I could just reach out and ask for one, and I didn't, partly because I just wanted, even before I had signed up, to start trusting myself in my own decisions, because I thought, like, even if I meet you, what are you going to say really? You're just going to say what I already know, and then I'm still going to have to go away and make a decision anyway. But having done that, I would say that you as a person and the course that you've created very much kind of do what you say you will. And although that might sound obvious, I have bought many, many things and spent a lot of money where, like, you don't get what you think you're going to get. And so definitely, again, it might sound a little bit crude to put it in this frame, but I was not at all kind of left feeling I'd invested in something and I did not get what I thought I was getting. In fact, probably more than I thought I was getting. And I don't know that I've ever had that either. So let's just throw that in there at the end.
Wow. I mean, you know what? It's not the first certification where I've heard this. This like, oh, you actually do what you say you're going to do and deliver what you say you're going to deliver. And to me, it's obvious too. And I'm sorry if anyone's not had that experience, and it can be really hard if you've not had that experience to invest in yourself again and to make a decision again and to keep moving forward. And so massive credit to you and to anyone who has had that experience and keeps going, because, the alternative is that we let those bad experiences take more from us. So thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. Actually, when you said about, a call, and it makes me think, Veronica, about when we had our call and you were worried about what your husband was going to say. And you were like, I don't know if he's going to be in. And then you're like, he's in. Do you want to share about that a little bit before we go? Because it was such a funny...
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously, the course costs money.
Yes.
Partnership, right? So I didn't feel like, obviously I am a professional. I do have my own income, but in a partnership, it was important for me to around the decision to join by my husband. And again, like it was a bit of a you know, it's like, what do I like? It was really a fear of like, what happens if he says no? But like, he was just like, as soon as I mentioned it, he was like, yeah, absolutely, go for it. Like, just literally not even like a second passed, and he was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, if you feel like this is going to help you grow, absolutely go for it. Which obviously, like, with the like, obviously he would do that because he's amazing and he's supportive and he's an incredible partner, obviously, but like, you know, we hold that self-judgment, and as women as well, we are taught by society, frankly, to prioritize everyone else's needs as opposed to our own. So it's difficult to go out and ask for what do you want actually in life. So that was an incredible experience as well.
Yeah, yes, I remember that. And yeah, I think, just one last point to address, if anyone wants to respond to it, like, it is an investment, this program. We could have made it not an investment, but it is an investment. And I think because we want to deliver at that level, so that's why it was amazing to hear Laura say that it delivered and more, because I know that it's an investment, and it's a decision. And hopefully people listening have been able to hear some stories today and some feedback that allow you to make that decision. But it's not a throwaway decision. And I get that. And it does bring things like that for Veronica brought up, this, partnership question, and what if they say no? So yeah, just to acknowledge that. I don't know if anyone else has anything they want to share on that, or feels complete. And you just want to start sharing about how people can find you, and we'll leave the links in the show notes.
I think the one thing I would say is it is an investment, but I did not make an investment in, oh, let me do this course and then I can get this money back in X amount of time from X amount of clients. I mean, obviously, some people have gone through this course and made their money back before the course ended. I mean, that didn't happen to me, but more importantly, that wasn't the investment I made anyway. I just invested in myself, in me being a person who can create a business in their own way, in their own time. So I took that responsibility on myself before I even started. And again, I think that was in a response to kind of the way you described the course and all your marketing around it. And again, it's kind of like, I knew what I was getting, and I got more than that. But already before I'd even joined the course, it had me thinking about, how do I make decisions? How do I invest in myself? How do I take responsibility for myself? So that's kind of what you're getting, which is really, more valuable anyway.
Yeah. Thank you. That is powerful. Meagan, were you gonna?
Yes, to add on to what both of them said, not only I think it was Laura who said like the quality of the materials and the training was so incredible. I have done other trainings where the quality was good, but it didn't, I felt like I had to work harder to make it work for my brain. And while I still felt like I got something good out of it, that was something that was important to me as well through your marketing, was that for it's made for all different types of brains as well. And I feel like I did experience that. I was really able to use it in a way that made sense to me and helped, and that I was able to learn, and I felt like I was able to use all of it that way. And it was really fascinating I wanted to believe you. There's still a little bit of me questioning it as I went in, and I did experience, like you said, it was really available to various styles of learning and ways of applying that learning. So I wanted to say that too.
Thank you. Thank you. And yes, for anyone listening, the link will be in the show notes to join the certification, timehackers.xyz/BATHC. But I want to leave you with an opportunity to hear from Veronika, Laura, and Meagan on a little bit about what they're doing, who they're helping, and how you can stay connected to them. So Veronika, do you want to go first?
Absolutely. And as a self-confessed intense perfectionist, my purpose is to help women like me who are super busy. They are working moms or working professionals, and my purpose is to help them regain joy and flow in their lives. as I have done with those tools. And this is really, really powerful work that I would love to support them with. And you can find me on LinkedIn.
Yes, I was thinking I'll put your LinkedIn in the show notes, and that'll be perfect. Thank you. Thanks, Veronica. Laura?
Okay, thanks. Well, as I said, I am a coach for highly sensitive women, and in particular, smart, sensitive women who feel like their head's in a million different places and they've got 57 tabs running in their brain. And I help them kind of clear that mental fog and settle on their one next step. And you can find me over at 57tabs.com.
Oh, what a great name. What? I love that. How did I not know that? So good. And we'll have the link in the show notes. Laura, 57tabs.com. Genius. I love
Just to
it.
find a little bit more about me and, join the newsletter if you want. And hey, sign up for a session. I don't want to stop you.
There you go. Get your 57 tabs down. I love it. Meagan?
Yes. So I am on Instagram, and Meagan, your team has been so great, always spelling my name correctly. It's Meagan. I've been told it's the Irish way. And I love helping women. I've been most of my mothering years a working mom. I spent a little bit of time as a stay-at-home mom, and either time it takes some time tools to really love it and enjoy it and to just choose it. And so I want to help mom, and I spend a lot of time skipping lunch in those mothering years and not prioritizing my rest. So it's really important to me to help these women who are mothers and interested in things to really feel successful in the life that they've chosen without skipping lunch and with getting a nap if they want to. And so like I said, I'm on Instagram, Meagan Hubbard Coaching, and I have a podcast called Permission to Pause. There's actually a few other Permission to Pauses. So Permission to Pause with Meagan Hubbard, and I love showing up there and sharing what I've been learning there.
Amazing. So yeah, the links will be in the show notes. Thank you all. And it's also, I think, inspiration for people listening to see how you really get to make it your own. You get to make the tools your own. This is one of the things that I'm saying, and I saw this with a post that Melanie, who was in your guys' cohort, shared. Like this when you get certified with us and you use the tools and you build the coaching skills and the business, all of that stuff, there is no way you can't not make it your own. And then you go out and solve problems in the world that we could never solve. And it is so important. There is such a time problem everywhere, and it's showing up in these different facets that you guys have just mentioned, and more. So, it really is such important work, and I'm so proud to see you guys just doing it your own way. And I'm excited to see where we go from here. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you guys for sharing your wisdom. See you on another episode. Bye.